Hello everyone, welcome back to botany class. In this video, we are going to start the new chapter, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Right? This chapter is somewhat important one, and it's based on here we are going to discuss about DNA, genes, and factors, etc. This chapter is it's a concept-based one, and you can expect minimum 3 questions from this area. Okay? And we are going to see some genetic problem also in this particular chapter, right? And before going into the chapter, we will see some important terms that we are going to use in this particular chapter regularly, right? And here the chapter comes under title genetics. What is exactly meaning of genetics? And here for giving name to this chapter, they used two important words. One is inheritance and second word is heredity, right? We have to see what is the meaning of inheritance and what is the meaning of variation, right? And we know that all organisms they will reproduce. Why they want to reproduce now? Because they want to continue their generation, right? They want to continue their generation so that all organisms they keep on reproducing. In reproduction, they are forming the offspring, but offspring of the same kind only we are producing, all organisms. For example, if you take example, lion is there, lion again giving rise to only lion only. But a rabbit is there, here you can see rabbit giving rise to only rabbit only. The monkeys are there, monkeys reproduces only monkeys only, like human. But whatever, but they are producing same kind of offspring only. But the offspring, most of them, they do not totally resemble the parent. So some degree of variation will be there. Okay, you see, for example, you take one rabbit, so giving rise to or producing 4 offspring. The 4 offsprings are they are not identical each other, and also they are not identical to the parent rabbit also. So that variation, so that we have to see that variation only that by that how the organism they are different from the parent organism, the degree by which progeny differ from their parent organism, we can call it as variation, right? And the branch of study which deal with inheritance variation, we can call it as genetics, right? Genetics is nothing but it's a branch of biology which deal with the inheritance and variation, how the characters are inherited from parents to offspring, and how the parents are the progeny differ from the parents. That is, you can say variation, right? And here you can see inheritance. The inheritance, the term they are given here, the process by which characters are passed on from parent to progeny, right? The character passing from parents to progeny, the process name is called inheritance. Okay, inheritance, or simple term you can say heredity, right? But whatever the progeny produced by the parent organism, the progenies are not identical. Some difference will be there, and also they are different from the parent, somewhat different. Okay, the difference only we are calling as variation, or you can say genetic variation, right? It is a degree by which progeny differ from the parents. Okay, so that difference we are calling as variation. Okay, so here we are going to see in this chapter how the characters are inherited from generation to another generation, one generation to next generation, and how the parent and the progeny we are genetically we are different, what kind of variation they are having. Okay, so that's why the title given as principles of inheritance and variation, right? You see here I displayed some images here. You see the parents, there are some difference will be there in between parents and progeny. So you see, this couple they are having 2 children. 2 children they are not identical. Somewhat difference is there. So in the physical appearance wise and the genetic makeup wise and behavior wise, some difference will be there. So these differences we are calling as variation, genetic variation, right? Before entering into the chapter, we will see some important terminology. These are genetic terminology, or you can say genetic vocabulary, because these words we are going to use repeatedly in this particular chapter, right? First, the exact definition of genetics. The exact definition of genetics: study of heredity and variation. You can say, so the study of heredity and variation of organism, you can say genetics. Or study of genes and chromosomes. Study of genes and chromosome, we can call it as genetics, right? What is that heredity? Heredity nothing but the resemblance between offspring and their parents. So how the parent organism differ from the offspring, there is and how they are, what are the similarity they are having, and what are the dissimilarity having. Okay, so here we are talking about similarity. Okay, so that every organism they are getting whatever character they are having, they are getting from only from the parent. The resemblance between offspring and their parents, we can call it as heredity, right? Next word, variation. It's a very important term, variation, or you can say genetic variation also. The difference between parents and offspring. The genetically what kind of difference they are having, and what is the degree of difference between parents and offspring. The degree of genetic difference you can call it as variation, or you can say genetic variation also. Next, inheritance. Inheritance meaning is transmission of character from parents to offspring. So like whatever character the parents having, we are talking about here genetic character. The genetic character next comes to the offspring. Okay. So offspring, the transmission of character, the process of transmission of character from parents to offspring, you can call it as inheritance. Okay, inheritance. And alleles. Here we are having two important words, genes and allele. Actually, the genes nothing but it's a region of DNA or RNA which code for one particular character. Mostly the character either may be physical character or maybe physical appearance or mostly in the form of protein, right? But alleles, you see, we know and you should know that for each and every character of organism is expressed by pair of genes, not single gene, right? Two genes only responsible for single character. In the two gene, one gene we are getting from father, another gene we are getting from mother. One is a paternal, another one is a maternal gene, right? So that every character of organism is expressed by pair of gene, not single gene, which are present either in homologous chromosome or heterologous chromosome. But the alternative form of gene, we can call it as alleles. But the same gene in a different individual, they express different characters or trait. That's why we are calling it the alternative form of gene. You can call it as allele or allelomorphs, right? And the next terms, the dominant character, the character which is expressed. That character we are saying the dominant, right? Which is expressed, we are saying the dominant. But it indicates mostly we will use that for specifying dominant character we will use capital letter, right? It indicates with capital letter. And next one is a recessive character. The character which is suppressed. If the gene which are present in heterozygous condition, the gene which is expressed, the character which is expressed, we are saying the dominant, which is suppressed, we are saying the recessive character. For denoting recessive character, always we will use small letters, right? And homozygous, the condition in which chromosome carry similar allele of gene. Suppose one character encoding gene is there, that character encoding genes are present in similar type of alleles in the chromosome. We can call it as homozygous condition. You see here, the gene responsible for height of plant. So this is the capstic, capstic. Both because both genes are the alleles are same capstic, capstic. This is a homozygous condition. And the gene responsible for same height of plant, small t. This is a recessive gene. This is a dominant gene. This is a recessive. And Y color, small y. Okay, you see all are similar pairs, right? So the pair carry similar alleles in it. We are calling as homozygous condition, right? Heterozygous, the condition in which chromosome pair carry dissimilar alleles of gene. Like heterozygous you see here, one is capsty in this gene pair, one is capsty, another one is small t. So because one is a dominant gene, another one is recessive gene. But here it's not like that. Here both are dominant, but both are recessive. Both are dominant, both are recessive. But in this pair, one is caps letter they are given, dominant gene, another one is a recessive gene, right? Same here also caps y, small y. So this condition we are calling as if the pair, the chromosome pair carry dissimilar allele of gene, you can call it as heterozygous. If they carry similar allele of gene, you can call it as homozygous condition. Homozygous either may be completely it's a dominant or maybe recessive, but heterozygous is always it's a dominant because heterozygous gene pair, one is dominant one, another one is recessive. So that always expresses dominant condition, right? And the next term is phenotype. Here you can see phenotype. The visible character of individual, you can say phenotype, the physical expression. So whatever the gene is there, it physically will express. For this example, you take height of organism is one of the example. And human, you take skin color. It's a physical appearance. Somebody they are looking dark, somebody looking fair, somebody looking intermediate. Even hair color, the type of hair, and the type of flower and the fruit, whatever may be, the visible character of individual, we are saying that phenotype. So the visible character, you can easily differentiate from the other individual. Like you see, one human is the dark. How we are saying that human is dark? We are comparing with the fair person with fair skin. So that we are comparing. That visible differences we are saying that phenotype, right? And a genotype is nothing but genetic constitution of the character. For example, skin color, my skin color is dark. And why I am having darkness? Because of my genetic background. My genes are like that. Now, another individual human, they are having fair skin because their skin type is like that. So this is the genotype, right? So next one, the very important slide here. First, we got to understand what is the meaning of character and what is the meaning of trait. So actually, some people they uses these two words synonymously. It gives the same meaning only, but these two words are different, right? What is the character meaning? It's a heritable feature that vary among individual. It's a heritable feature that vary among individual. That is, you can say character. For example, eye color is there, and the flower color, and the height of the plant. So these are also an example for character. What is the meaning of third meaning is the variant of character. We can call it as each variant of we can call it as trait. For here I have given example. Here I am taken stem height as a character. Height is one of the character of organism. But the same height, some plant is expressed tall, some plant is expressed dark. But tall, dark, both are it's a trait. But dark tall is what? It's nothing but stem height, right? Stem height only we are saying that. Here stem height is character. But in the trait is some plant they are tall. It's a trait. The character expressed in tall. It's a character dominant trait. But recessive trait is dark, right? So this variant of character we are calling as trait, and the future of organism. The future of organism we are saying heritable future of organism we can say character, right? For example, another example I have to say here, the human skin color. Skin color is a character. but the skin color is expressed in differently among individual. That may be vary among individual. Some people they are having dark skin. It's a truth. Some people they are having intermediate color. That is a truth. Some people they are having hair. That is a truth. Right? I think that you understood the difference between character and truth. Right? So next we have to see the genes, the difference between genes and allele. So genes are nothing but it's a gene. You can say it's a unit of heredity or a functional unit of DNA. We are calling as gene. It's a heritable factor that control specific character name is called. We are calling as gene. So how we can define gene? We can say is either it's a part of chromosome or part of gene that code for some specific character we are calling as gene. You see the genes are located in specific place on the chromosome. That where it is located, that is you can say it gene locus. Okay, a locus. And the human we are having approximately 22-25,000 of genes. Okay, you see here I given homologous pairs of chromosome. In that homologous pair, one is we are getting from father, another one this is a paternal chromosome, right? Another one we are getting from the mother. So individual they are having two. But here there is some genes are there. Okay, you see here the gene responsible for flower color. Flower color is a character. But where that gene is located, that position we are calling as locus. Like you see here one gene is there. Here maybe another gene is present. Here maybe another gene. Here another gene. But the location of the gene responsible for flower color is first locus. Okay, this is a locus. And alleles and all, alternative form of gene we are calling as allele. The gene responsible for flower color, so only one single gene is present in individual organism. But the same gene expresses different color in different individual. Okay, you see, some plant it expressing purple color, some plant they are having white also. But here in homologous pair of chromosome, the gene responsible for flower color is present in heterozygous condition. Because one gene, the allelic pair, one gene is purple color, one is white. But when expresses the flower color, how it look now? It look like purple only. Because this is a heterozygous condition, only the dominant gene is expressed, not recessive. Here dominant gene is purple is dominant, white is recessive, right? For example, the gene eye color is there and allele is eye color. There are different colors are there, blue, brown or blue color, etc. Right? Next we have to see the exact difference between dominant and recessive. A dominant gene or allele express itself in the presence of or absence of recessive trait. Both conditions express, right? Capacity or capacity small t. In that it expresses tallness. It's a dominant. But recessive trait able to express itself only in the absence of dominant. When the recessive genes will express now only in homozygous condition only. Both alleles are, if it is small, both are recessive only, it will express. For example, you can say here capacity is there and another one capacity, right? So it is a homozygous condition. It expresses dominance. In another condition, capacity and small t. So these condition also dominance is expressed. But recessive when it expresses, it both are small t only, recessiveness is expressed, right? So here it's a dwarf will give, you'll get a tall. For example, here they are given tall plant. Tall plant is expressed, the height of the plant expressed with both homozygous dominant, heterozygous dominant. And a round sheet, and a violet color flower. So these are dominant character, right? For example, for recessive character, dark plant, brindled seed, and white flower. So these are expressed only in, so only if they are pair, they are having only similar type of recessive genes only. In the absence of dominant only, these characters are expressed. Okay, see here, dominant, the plant height is there. It's a 7 feet height. So this tallness is expressed by either homozygous dominant or heterozygous. But dwarf is always expressed by only small t only expresses dominant. Okay, there is a difference, exact difference between dominant and recessive role, right? And here we can see exactly what is the exact difference between homozygous and heterozygous, right? Here you can see one gene pair is there, allelic pair. Here both are caps B, right? These are homozygous. Here small b. These are homozygous. Both are similar type of alleles, right? So these are both are dominant allele. Here both are recessive allele. Whatever maybe these are homozygous condition. But here you can see cap B, small b. One dominant allele, another one is recessive allele. In this pair, here also you can see small b and caps b. This condition we are saying the heterozygous condition, right? But homozygous condition, so it depends on the allelic pair. If they both are dominant, dominant is expressed. Both are recessive, recessiveness here is expressed. But heterozygous condition, only dominant is expressed, but recessive is suppressed, right? Only here the B, caps B only expresses, but small b, no. So you see the cell said to be homozygous for particular gene when identical alleles of the gene are present in both on both homologous chromosome. The cell organism in question is called homozygote, right? But here the diploid organism is heterozygous, a gene locus when its cells contain two different alleles. One is a wild type, nothing but dominant. Another one is a recessive type, right? The cell is, you can say, heterozygote. Clear with this? And we will see the exact difference between genotype and phenotype, right? Genotype is nothing but the set of allele, or you can say pair of genes that an individual has. Actually, here uppercase letter is always written first for this. Okay, for example, purple color is there. Purple meaning is so caps P, or caps P small p. That is, we are saying that it's a genotype, right? And phenotype is nothing but the physical appearance of throat. Actually, whatever gene is there, how it is expressing. This we are saying the phenotype. Okay, see the for this particular plant, so it's giving purple color flower. So the genotype is capsule. It's a homozygous. Same purple color, the genotype is capsule small p. It's a heterozygous condition. And here also heterozygous, right? So this physically the character is expressed. The third is expressed here. It's a flower looking like purple. This physical appearance only you can say phenotype, and the gene which is responsible for this physical appearance you can call it as genotype. So why the flowers are looking purple now? Because the genetic makeup is caps P. It's a dominant homozygous. Why this flower looking purple now? Because here the genetic makeup is caps P, small p. So the caps P is violet color and purple color, small p is white color. But here in heterozygous only dominant is expressed, not recessive. That's why the phenotype looking like purple color. Here you can see the white color. Here small p. This is a homozygous condition. Small p is homozygous condition. Okay. That is the exact difference between genotype and phenotype. So each and every visible character of organism or trait of organism is encoded by or expressed by specific genes, specific pair of genes. The genetic constitution you can call it as genotype. The physical appearance of the third one, the individual organism you can say phenotype, right? And here I have given the exact example. We look the image, the genotype and phenotype. Here you can see this plant looking somewhat tall, but this plant is looking somewhat dark. For this genotype, why it's growing tall? It is a physically expressed, looking tall, right? It's the height of the plant. For this genetic makeup is caps. but here the genetic makeup is small t, small t. So the phenotype here is, the genotype is caps T, small t. But the phenotype is, this one is tall is a, it's a trait, physical trait, and dark is a phenotype, right? Yeah. John Gregor Mendel. It's a very important scientist. He called as the father of or god of science, and he's called as father of genetics. Okay, classical genetics. So genetic, the studies started with or began only with this John Gregor Mendel, right? We are calling as father of genetics. So Gregor John Mendel, the full name is Gregor John Mendel. He called as a father of genetics. Very important scientist. So also known as father of modern genetics. Okay? And this particular scientist, Gregor John Mendel, developed principles of heredity while studying, when conducting experiments in garden pea plant. When we studying 7 pairs of inherited characteristics in pea plant, and he developed principles of heredity. And also, the significance of his work was not recognized during his lifetime. Actually, he did lot of work and he contributed lot of things to the science. But during his lifetime, his work is not recognized. But after his life, end of life only, his work is came to uh, uh, maybe it's a popularized, right? And the Mendel approach, he conducted experiment. The experiment name is called hybridization, also called as artificial pollination or cross pollination. And how many years he conducted? Na? He conducted for nearly 7 years. 7 years. And based on that, he proposed a law of inheritance. Okay, the law of inheritance together we are calling as principles of inheritance also. But which plant material used for his study? Na? He preferred only garden pea plant, Pisum sativum. But he conducted the hybridization experiment in Pisum sativum for 7 years, from 1856 to 1863. It's a very important one. In the 2016 ANPT exam, we asked this question. Okay. So this period, these 7 years together, you can call it as Mendelian periods. Mendelian period. And also, he applied statistical analysis and mathematical logic for biology problems. That is a important one. And also new thing. So before that, nobody will try this statistical analysis or mathematical logic for solving biological problem. Okay. So this is a new approach. It is used by Mendel. And the large size sampling, that is a very important one, so that greater credibility to data. And he conducted experiment using true breeding pure lines. So true breeding pure lines, na, the particular plant variety has undergone cell pollination for several generations, continuously cell pollinated plant. That's we are saying that true breeding pea lines or plants. For this experiment, he used only true breeding pure lines only. And by the experiment, and by he generated for several, tested for several generations, and then he proposed the rules of inheritance. Okay, and he used for during this experiment, he used only opposite when you doing hybridization. He's taken opposite third for this experiment, like tall, dark, and yellow and green sheet like that. So opposite or contrasting pairs with this taken and he did. And finally, at the end of the experiment, he proposed some laws or rules. The laws together we are calling as law of inheritance or Mendel laws of inheritance, right? See, the Mendel experiment material is the which material he has taken for experiments, na Pisum sativa. It's a garden pea plant. You look at image how the plant will look. So this plant only he is used as a experimental material. And we are having question. There are lot of plant varieties are there. Why Mendel specifically selected these pea plant? Na? The reasons are the pure variety available. Okay, so in garden pea only pure lines are wild varieties available. And pea plants are easy to cultivate in simple, without any skills. We can cultivate and grow this organism. And the life cycle of plant are only few months. Within few months, or 2 or 3 months, they can complete their life cycle. So that easily can get the results, right? And it shows most contrasting throat or character. So the major difference you can observe. And the flowers are very important. One is flowers are bisexual because same the single flower which bear both male and a female reproductive organ and are normally self-pollinated. And also these pea plant undergo bud pollination because before opening of buds itself, the flower get pollinated. Okay. Flowers can be cross-pollinated only manually. It's easy to cross-pollinate this flower, and whatever we are doing cross-pollination, we are producing hybrids. The hybrids are fertile ones. Okay. So because of this reason, Mendel preferred pea plant, so that he used garden pea plant for this hybridization experiment, right? So these are the summations, right? And the Mendel hybridization experiment, for this experiment, and initially he selected 20 pairs of contrasting character. Then he reduced it to up to 11, and finally he conducted hybridization experiment only using 7 pair of the contrasting character. Okay, for this experiment, Mendel selected 7 pairs of contrasting. That is nothing but true breeding garden pea variety. 7 pairs only he selected for his experiment, right? And the Mendel experiments, we got to see the steps. 3 important steps are there. Step 1 here I have given. Self-pollinate each plant for several generations. Because first we have to produce the true breeding variety. Whatever we are offspring we are produced, they display only one form of particular trait. That trait we are saying that true breeding variety, right? And in parental generation, the first two individual crossed in breeding experiment, right? You see, two breeding parents are there. So this parent, purple, this is a homozygous dominant, pure line. And the white flowers also, it's a pure line. So first experiment is, first he self-pollinated for several generations. From that, he developed a true breeding variety and true breeding lines only he used for his experiments, right? And the steps 2, here you can see the cross-pollination parental generation, P generation. P generation already he produced, right? These are pure breeding variety, pure breeding parent. One is it produces purple, it's a pure capsp, capsp. This is a white, small p, small p. And F1 generation, so the first filial generation, the offspring of the parent. You see here, self and he characterizes and count the parent. Okay, in F1 generation, he crossed this pure breeding purple flower with the white flower, and we got filial generation 1. Why we are calling this one as a filial generation 1? The progeny produced by genetic cross, we can call it as filial generation or F1, F2 like that only, right? And step 3, so first step 1, he produced one is by self pollination, he developed a true breeding variety. In steps 2, he hybridized among the parent generation through breeding and produced F1 generation. And step 3, he produced F2 generation, the second filial generation, by self-pollinating the offspring of F1 plants. F1 plants. He self-pollinated this and he got F2, and he characterizes and he counted the number of plants. Right? These are 3 important steps. First step is the developing the true breeding by self-pollination. Second step is cross-pollination of selected parents. Cross-pollination among selected parents and producing F1 generation. Third step is the self-pollination of F1 generation, which produces F2 generation, right? These are 3 important steps. Okay, you see here the 3 steps of Mendel experiments I given. Producing first step is producing true breeding parent generation. These also few, these also few. So white, pure purple. Pure white na caps P, caps P. Pure white, sorry, pure purple is caps P, but pure white is small p, small p. So from that he developed all whatever the progeny producing for several generations. It gives only purple color only. There is no chance of getting white. Here also cell pollination again we are getting only so this white color flower. Second step, producing an F1 generation. And he cross-pollinated this purple color flower with white color flower. So that we got F1 generation. But F1 generation he found that all are purple. And next, he cell-pollinated this F1 progeny to produce F2 generation. But here F2 generation he got some flowers are violet, some flowers are white color, right? These are 3 steps of Mendel hybridization experiment, right? And steps in making artificial hybridization. So already we discussed in plant breeding program. First we are selecting parent organism where we are going to cross. We know that Pisum sativum only produces bisexual flowers. And one flower you can make it as a female, another flower you can make it as a male parent. Female parent, you can cut and remove the anther using scissor or biceps before its maturation. The process we are calling as the removal of anther from the female flower, you can call it as emasculation. Then we are, you can cover the flower with back. Then you can collect the pollen grain from male plant. So from here, we can transfer to the stigma of female flower. Then you can allow the flower to fertilize and allow the flower to develop into fruit and seed. From that, we collected seeds and the seeds upon germination it produces offspring. Okay. This is a hybridization procedure, right? So far we discussed about some important terminology in genetics and we studied about the scientist John Gregor Mendel, and for his experiment he used Pisum sativa, and we studied the why he used and why he selected Pisum sativa for experiment, and then we studied Mendel, the steps of Mendel hybridization experiment, right? So up to this I will end up this video, and next video will continue further. Thank you.